Kill! This is WBZ-TV Boston Days 4, and it is time now for Round 4, Thursday, June 10th, 1982, 5:30 p.m. with Chris Canagla and Joyce Kalewick. Good evening, everybody, and here's what's happening on Live on 4 minutes, Thursday evening, June 10th, 1982. Top story at 5:30 is Governor King yesterday sharply criticized the legislature committee for failing to include a mandatory jail sentence in a bill that would civil penalties for persons convicted of drunk driving. King said he was extremely disappointed in a ball that the bill approved by the Legislature Joint Committee on Criminal Justice did not include mandatory sentences for repeat offenders and for persons convicted of vehicle homicide while driving under the influence of alcohol. Or for drunk driving because your brother or your sister or your child, there's still no requirement that you'll go to jail. King said at the State House press conference he added that mandatory sentences are an integral part of the solving the drunk driving problem. Representative W. Paul White, Democrat of Dorchester, chairman of the committee, said yesterday that in the heat of the campaign for governor, I knew the governor feels he has taken a strong stand on certain issues, but I think a closer examination of the bill was revealed that the spirit and the thrust that the King's Drunken Driving Task Force recommended that have been embodied in the committee bill. A task force appointed by King recently recommended mandatory sentences for some offenses, and its recommendations were forwarded to the legislature committee. The committee proposal calls for increased but not mandatory prison sentences for repeat offenders, and it also provides for mandatory license loss for persons convicted of drunken driving for a second or third time. In addition, the bill would establish a new category of criminal offenses: vehicle homicide while driving under the influence of liquor. Conviction under that change could bring a penalty up to 10 years in prison. King had proposed a mandatory 14-day prison term for anyone convicted of drunken driving in a second offense. The governor said he would veto any drunken driving legislature that reaches his desk without provisions of mandatory sentences. One reason the committee rejected mandatory sentences, White said, that the state prisons are already severely overcrowded. He said there would be no room for the persons such a law would go send them to prison. There. A combination of inflation and Proposition 2.5 has taken a toll on school field trips to the Boston museums and theaters. The Boston Museum of Transportation, which is recently closed, is only the most valuable casualty of the economic strains affected the public facilities. But the lack of student visitors has affected a number of other institutions in the Boston area. Dan Ray has a report. We will end up in the year down about 12,000 people.
Later in the afternoon, a grilling...
And the majority of that is due to Proposition 2.5, says Georgina Cooper, director of the Visitor Service at the Boston Museum of Science. Proposition 2.5 is coming in the picture at the local level when it comes to funding the transportation costs. Most school committees have written off field trips as frills. As for information, Cooper said a field trip costs about $10. Most of the parents don't have that to spend. True, in the more affluent areas it would be no problem. But in places like Lawrence and Lowell, they just can't afford it and they're not coming in. The situation is similar to New England Aquarium as the end of April. We're down about 35%, said Tony Pollicus, sales manager at the aquarium. She cited attendance figures from April 1981 of 28,820 and for the same period of this year of 18,749. May and June are not highest attendance months, but the figures are going to be down considerably by last year's 33,543 in May and 19,562 in June, she said. Rosin Woodray, Director of Communication Relations at Aquarium, says funds have dried up from federal and state sources. More parent-teacher organizations and the Kims themselves are coming up with ways to finance field trips. She said they're doing it by holding raffles, picnics, and car washes and bake sales. Woodray said the aquarium is only too happy to help out. On these occasions, and has donated the membership of free admission tickets. 5 tickets have a rep for a value of $25. Coop also said that the Science Museum has tried to encourage school groups to hold fairs, car washes, and bake sales to make money to rent the buses. At the Children's Museum, a half-mile walk from the aquarium, Pat Kelly, an administrative assistant, said the museum has had as many visitors this year. It just took longer to get them. Anyway, Channel 4 with this news here. And if 15,000 New Englanders, 10,000 of them from Massachusetts expected to board special buses and trains for Saturday's anti-nuclear rally, the New York organizers said yesterday. The Central Park rally, which is expected to draw about 500,000 people from across the country and the world, has been planned to coincide with a second United Nations special session on disarmament on June 7th to July 9th. Bill Schultz has a report. The Massachusetts delegation is to be among the lists. Just for matter sake, New York City has hired about 6,000 municipal workers that estimated costs $1 million to manage the crowd, which will march past the United Nations to the park. Demonstrators will include Boston Air Secretaries Dr. Helen Caldicott and Randall Forsberg, as well as entertainers James Taylor, Linda Ronstadt, Jackson Brown, Alan Alda, Orson Welles, and Peter and Paul Mary, among others. Yesterday, volunteers were introduced and included a 40-year-old piano tuner who turned social worker, 33-year-old psychologist, and a 27-year-old carpenter answered telephone calls. Announced up in the 10 lines of the Cambridge-based June 12th campaign office. In a adjoining room in the basement of the American Friends Services Committee headquarters, full-time campaign staff members early but vainly sought additional buses and train cars to transport New England demonstrators. By yesterday afternoon, more than 1,000 Boston area residents have purchased a 36-round trip to all. Tickets for a special 14-car Amtrak Peace train scheduled to leave 6 a.m. Saturday from South Station, and minutes later from 1:28:25. Demonstrators already have bought 20 round-trip tickets on 50 buses that will leave at the same hour from Boston Common. More than 4,400 Massachusetts demonstrators are scheduled to board 88 buses from cities such as Peabody, Springfield, Northampton, and Amherst. Transportation coordinators Nancy Gilman and Jenny Brill said yesterday. About 30 Massachusetts residents will board a special civil distribution bus will return to Boston Monday at 6 p.m. The demonstrators will anticipate arrest, participating in blocking emissions of the 5 known nuclear nations at 8 a.m. on Monday. Gilman at least about 2,000 Massachusetts residents expected carpool in New York, judging from calls headed by Peace Ride volunteers trying to match drivers and riders to New York City. According to local organizer Chris Berger, emergency public service announcements were scheduled to begin yesterday on radio and television. Urgent demonstrators call carpool numbers 492-1772 and 497-6754 because all available bus and train service has been expected to be exhausted because at least 7 Massachusetts cities and towns, Boston and Cambridge and Newton, Somerville, Worcester, Peabody, and Carlisle have declared a June 12th a preventive evacuation day in support of the rally, organizers said. Massachusetts is not the only state to have exhausted its supply of organized transportation, said New York June 12th. Spokesman David Smith yesterday, Philadelphia has chartered 115 buses making the Pennsylvania and Massachusetts delegations the largest expected at the rally, he said.
Closed caption funding.
Bill Shields, Hours News. A young man approached another supporter of congressional candidate Thomas H. Trumark at his formal announcement on last Sunday and said, "I'm embarrassed to ask, but he's a Republican. He has voted his second run for the 6th District Congressional seat against Democratic U.S. Representative Nicholas Marvulis. Trumark was kind of non-party affiliation to be a secondary concern to the voters, and Republicans make up just 80% of the district's electorate compared to about 40% Democrats and 42% Independents. When he announced his candidate at the Barclays Lodge in Lynn, Trumark, of 43, an attorney who lives in the Beverly City, would be an independent Republican. He stressed that his parents were Democrats and the administrators were his parents and Democrats, and that he had been independent until he joined the Republican Party in 1977. The front of his campaign liquid scientism is an invited voice
Good Morning America.
of an independent.
Remarks she made about
Animated to make out of a Reagan, well, but won't work, but he said in an interview. But Marvel's 52-year-old former mayor Peabody, who was first elected to the House in 1978, intends to do all to kin the type to market to President Ronald Reagan and his economic domestic policies. Quite honestly, I feel like I have the issue on my side. We have compared what the economy was like 2 years ago and what it is like today. Tom will have to find some truth in himself. Marvel said in an opponent to the Democratic primary as well. He is James Carr, led 29 former special needs teacher and anti-poverty worker in Lynn, who is a first-time candidate, Carl Wright, who is worker for a doctorate in social economy and social policy at Carr.
the doctor said,
Legislative Boston College City is running to represent the spiritual aspiration of people in the political area. The essential problem is America's need for spiritual rebirth, and with polls showing that voters are growing increasingly dissatisfied with Reaganomics, and Trumark already has taken steps to put the distance between himself and the head of this party. In his announcement speech, he pledged, "I will not be wed to the positions only taken by one
ridiculously expensive
faction in the party, and I will not be bound by Dick Churchill and any one president." While he favors Reagan administration attempt to reduce the size of the government, he opposed the reduction of the guaranteed student loans and excessive and corporate tax breaks provided by last year's tax cuts, and the administration refusal to cut the defense budget. Republican person have some to accept his independent posture. He said, "I am no Republican, and not to some Republicans I may only be half the 3/4 of loaf, but with my brothers all they are getting
systemic
his crumbs," he said. In 1983, Malcolm fell 8,201 votes showed and beating Marvels after economic narrow 235 victory of 235 votes.
changes that would have prevented
John N. TV4 Eyewitness News. There,
at least hopefully could
an highly unusual Harvard class day dressed Barbara Teresa and Angel Calcutta attended personal call of the Jesus returned to the family life marked by chastity, love, prayer, sharing of material wealth, and reverence of unborn life. Persecuted to exuberant against more than 3,000 people as a point of reconciliation within different religious beliefs, the tiny missionary, winner of the Nobel Peace Prize in Sutra, hushed to come over to the crowd, and she told them, "You and I have been called here and love one another, to be kind by one another. Let us preach out by words and by example. Go in search of the poor. If you find them, we'll leave them and love them, and if you love them, you will serve them. I do not want people merely to share their abundance. I want them to give up until it hurts," she told an year's Harvard graduate class and their families. Mother Teresa was selected by the graduating class state committee, quoted Harvard spokesman after all, and out of the match TV series and Supreme Justice Henry O'Connor turned down their invitations. The man is the second woman ever to live.
The severe weather hitting tonight, the flood rescues the pictures.
Class Day address, which began in 1966. Coretta Scott King was the first, but she spoke in place of her husband, civil rights leader Martin Luther King, was occupied the invitation before he was slain. While waiting for her turn at the podium, she sat with her head bowed, silently saying the rosary. The solemnity of the speech and manner stood in absolute contrast to the delight of the tradition of the day. Some of the student speeches that preceded her talk typically expressed humorous and sometimes slightly salty commentary about life as a Harvard undergraduate.
Connected. Life at the top is pretty good.
Tel Aviv, Israel said the aircraft shot down 22 Syrian warplanes and heavily damaged its Syria's anti-aircraft missile batteries in central Lebanon yesterday as the Israeli ground troops reportedly moved into the southern outskirts of Beirut. Syria later charged that the Israeli warplanes bombed the outskirts of Damascus, killing 8 persons, but the Israeli military command in Tel Aviv said no harsh planes had flown into the Syria or bombed Syrian territory. The Israeli claimed that sending the disputed by Syria came after more than 90 Israeli and 60 Syrian warplanes fallen in the skies over Lebanon's Bekan Valley in one of the biggest air battles in more than 3 decades of Middle East hostilities. Ariel Sharon and the Israel Defense Minister said no Israeli planes were lost in the weight and air battles, but Syria was shut down 19 Israeli planes while losing a 6 on its own. Sharon called it a massive raid on the Syrian missile batteries a turning point in the invasion of Lebanon, saying that Israeli forces can now act against the guerrilla positions that were operated under the recovery of the Syrian missiles. The raid came as the comments of Israeli tanks and troops continued to push northward at several points well beyond the 25-mile deep zone and led Israel had some Sunday in its intended to clear the Palestinian guerrillas. An Israeli force moving up the Mediterranean coast captured them 6 miles south of Beirut, and according to eyewitnesses, pushed Beirut International Airport and moved them to within 3 miles of the city limits of the Lebanese capital. Israel naval vessels landed reinforcements in the coast between the airport and the city, the eyewitnesses said, and sheltered sections of the city that are controlled by the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Yasser Arafat, the PLO leader, broadcasted an appeal from the Beirut for help from other Arab countries in its repulsing Israel massacre of the Palestinian people in Lebanon, which is said was being carried out with the open approval of the United States.
For a very long time. Everybody's got a smartphone or a tablet, right?
Russia and wherever the hostilities in Lebanon expand and wind down, now appears to be a question that will be decided more in Damascus and in Jerusalem. After the command and in the West inspected air battles between Israel and Syria just to the Balkan Valley yesterday, in which all 19 Syrian surface to air missile batteries that were believed to have been put out of the commission. Damascus essentially has 3 choices. It can't decide to clearly demonstrate its credibility to set up Israel as both in the urban world and among the Palestinians and quietly call for a ceasefire, which Israel would be expected to accept fairly quickly. It could decide that any chance to maintain its significant political influence in post-war Lebanon requests many reinforcements of its forces and more combat with assets. Or it could unleash and armor attacks against Israeli petitions of the Golan Heights, and even in Israel proper hopes that the United States and the Soviet Union and others will become so alarmed that it's in war that we would step in and try to impose a ceasefire and long-term settlement of the Lebanese crisis. Whatever serious choice it appears that it be a little prospect of it turning in anything in this situation and entitled to the Lebanon prior to the Israel's invasions of Sunday. After the Bekan Valley battle, Syrian and Palestinian Liberation Organization military forces that are now lacking the defensive military missile cover against the Israeli air attack. That meant their attacks artillery facilities and munition dumps can be picked off. This mountain Israeli policy also means that Balkan cannot become that.
$1 spent. People who travel less will earn $5.
Boston cheered itself up yesterday when the sun came out and spring looked. It felt like spring again. The team emerged with new life. From the young man turning somersaults on the damp Boston common grass to the squealing the entrance of the Clinton Street playground outside for the first time in days.
We'll let users stream video.
Change was clear. Even the ocean was in a better mind. No longer the brown, murky turbulence that had been for days before. 2 days before, its blue-green water reflected the sun from the surface waves and launch shirts on the beach. The mid-morning as supine bodies creased and glistened enough in the stood warm. Mary Donovan set herself along the sidewalk. Tape player
Calling out specific providers went unnoticed until the user
done wall. Look, and a blink nearby. Lunch would come from the grocery store nearby. In the meantime, Donovan, who was 22 years old, said, "I felt great. I've been waiting for someone to get started." Long Esplanade joggers, jotted t-shirts in a 75-degree high, and an entrance to the public court, and a blue man was so busy, inflated his wares and keeping up with the customers, he said he couldn't take a minute to talk. No time, he says, his fingers flying over tiny white strings. Gotta get these going. After 6 hours after tumultuous debate, the Massachusetts House representatives yesterday gave final approval to the controversial gay rights bill. On a pay raise bill for the governor, legislatures, and constitutional officers and judges, the vote was 37 and 68. The House adopted one and subsequent that an amendment of the bill which it had approved initially Tuesday 8168. That amendment approved on a voice vote would raise the salary of the lieutenant governor and the secretary of state to $60,000 from the $50,000 proposed earlier. The officers currently pays $30,000. The House bill would provide for the small raises that those that were quickly approved in the Senate last month, and the Conference Committee will now seek to compromise. The bill was to go to Edward King, who is said to be thinks that some of the proposed salaries are too high. The House barrel used the version of its pay raise measure would increase the governor's salary to $75,000.
On now, and it will continue for the next few days. Now, you're taking a look at Boston, and now
London, the British trying to establish a second
with some partial clearing, trying to come in.
beach in New Zealand and the Falkland Islands shut down 11 Argentine, but suffered heavy casualties when there. 3 British ships were hit by bombs, and political defense sources said yesterday. On the vessel's landing ship, Sir Galahad was picked with a soldier's wooden struck and burst into flames, taking 9 boxes of ammunition and tanks of fuel, according to dispatches from the front. And helicopters placed hundreds of troops from the flaming wreckage and frigid water in what one correspondent described as a day of tragedy and extraordinary heroism. And tales of Tuesday's casualties were sketchy, with the Prime Minister's office saying that it was significant, and the Defense Ministry reported they were much heavier than originally thought. One unconfirmed report said the foreign foot Sir Galahad had sunk in Argentina in its account of this battle, said its warplane sank a British frigate and damaged 3 London ships and caused 2 of them to be abandoned. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher said yesterday that the Falklands conflict is now beyond a negotiated settlement, and the center reviews with the 3 major television networks and before. Finally, in a meeting in Bonn, Thatcher said Britain has played to defend the Falkland Islands alone. After conflict and freedom is experts to defend, as she said in one interview, it was also worth defending, and despite the lack of full details, the result of the Argentine air attacks in the second British beachhead at Fitzroy, 10 miles southwest of Stanley, were widely interpreted as a setback to the British events at the same time. Calvin event sources said that the base. Bonn President Ronald Reagan reaffirmed the U.S. commitment in the defense of Western Europe yesterday before an enthusiastic Bundestag. The West German Parliament pledged that Europe shows our shores. Europe supporters our border, he said, and we will stand with you in the defense of our heritage of liberty and dignity. Also, an unexpected Reagan said that the Western allies were prepared to the proposal of the Soviet bloc that each side reduces the force of Europe, and unlawfully constructed a threat that was at times reminiscent of the President John F. Kennedy's H-Been billionaire speech 2 decades ago. Reagan waved the tool team found to maintain military strength while expanding and proceed with the peace demonstrators. Alright, Bob Lobel on the sports. Take away, Bob. Alright, thank you, Justin Chris. Tonight, the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees square up one more time at Fenway Park, with John Tudor the man for the Red Sox ball, Dave Rigetti man for the Yankees at Fenway Park. It was only pre-game beefing that the kind of manager of Ralph Huck was held 1,000 times hitting coach Walter. Huck was there, so were veteran Tony Perez and second year outfielder Reed Nichols. Prior to the change during the conference may well have been represented being responsible for the Red Sox second straight victory over the Yankees. The topic was doubt about to attack Yankee left-hander Tommy John, Albert Perez, and Nichols were good listeners. President Wilmer, then Nichols got to it, driven around and scored another. The Sox beat the Yankees 3-2 last night. Hey, well, I mean, there with Tommy John, either you have to get up on the plate or get back and look away. I moved up, he was for you. And he strikes if he doesn't have to, and if he doesn't have to, he still might not for you. Tommy John said. His pitches come and bring and look like strikes, but they're not. You got to be patient at the plate. It doesn't pay for you to go up there and try to take the pitcher. You basically got to watch it reset. He was behind and then again, and it got my double on my pitcher that was up. I think it was a strike. Perez didn't mind. Sharing in the knowledge of John, I was really no secret, but easily to explain John did when hit him. I faced him a lot of times, said Perez, and because of him, I have a good idea what to do against him. He was always trying to make you swing at this pitch, which is usually a ball. But the first time I faced him too. Then he got behind me when I knew he was at the couple of strikes, so I was ready to try to order to swing out. I didn't try to pull because when he had to do that, that's when you usually hit grab balls off him. Perez's adjustment from regular to yesterday, they do their pitcher that scored smoothly down. Down in the turn, Perez might have second thoughts about trading the Dodgers trade that would have said to the Dodgers, but now he found that sure the DH will call usurp his lucky. Everything here is fine, and because I knew what I expected of me, and manager told me that the first night that I wanted me a more pitcher against Kidry, and when the right situation came up, then was exactly what happened. He told me tonight that I would be facing John. I appreciate that. It's hard to come into the ballpark and not knowing what expected of you.
1,200 students. The average student at UMass Boston in the entering freshman class is 23 years old. Disproportionately disproportionate number of them were
Kenneth Sims yesterday signed a 4-year contract with the Patriots that should make him the highest paid New England player in history. The contract's worth $1.75 million in a complex pit. Gives us base salary signing bonus and a look-through loan in the pit. Which gives Sims the first choice in this year's NFL draft. The contract was negotiated for Sims with stood the age of Tristan Campbell at the Dallas Cowboys totally endorsed it, as well as signers Christopher Cross and Carol King and Jerry Jetwalker. Stewart came up down the street from Buddy Holly in Lubbock, Texas. Started selling 9 years ago when I was pitching t-shirts for Will Nelson, and yesterday when the Patriots as a concept that was directly the opposite of the NFL contracts that was most ones. The NFL and its manager pride themselves on defending and kids not getting their money for 25-30 years down the road. The teams have all the leverage when they do. That Stewart was no way I was going to get to put up with that. What I did was reverse the deferral process, and I put the leverage and the money on our side of the table. We are winning the money now. The Patriots won a great place to say Sim that the defensive lineman from Texas would not be the highest paid player. At the present time, it would not be a million more than John Hannah's $330,000 a year in suit for his support, saying, reluctant to discuss specific numbers because it really is hard to say what the contract is worth. The contract is very combined. Montreal at first reacted with disappointment. The Bruins had decided not to take Brian Bell's Junior Hopkins most highly touted player for 2 seasons. Instead, they made a deal with Minnesota that guaranteed Bills will be a North Star and guaranteed the Bruins would have some explain back home. And there came a man that a young man came walking across for the Montreal Forum. Good Klusak 6'4", 221 from Bills, Montana. The Bruins made them in the first pick in the 1982 entry draft, and as the man walked across the forum, to begin the year, I heard my wife said, General Manager Harrison, she said it must be on my mind. I sure there will be backlash to Boston, but Skystaff was very objective, and I'm sure Kluzak is the kind of player Boston fans would appreciate. In Simmons' mind, there was little or no difference between Bellows, a right winger, and Kluzak, a defenseman, and we will always have a task. I would take Kluzak away, but Minnesota general manager Lou Nannon wanted a winger, and he took insurance we gave him. The agreement with the North Stars would have given the Bruins left wingers Brad Palmer from Barry Russell and Dave Donnelly, a sophomore at University of North Dakota. In return, the Bruins would have drafted Kluzak and Lee Bells from Minnesota, which took the title winner in the draft second pick. The Bruins later swung in the deal with Philip for goalie Peter Peters, giving up to defenseman Brad McCrimmon. So then to look back at it, does anyone can feel it to be strengthened in the team that have 3 years where it needed strengthening? First, we were able to get player we wanted. Kluzak and Palmer was a bonus both of them pay by next year. With Kluzak, Bruins, Sinan could feel coming over at training defensemen and could say, I think we improved our team in goal because I'm a little afraid that Mac Buffett would have not faced an 80-game NHL schedule. He felt it would have been too much to explain to play 60, 70 games and create a team, and Sinan then I think was done good, but check with me this Christmas. Both McCrimmon and Peters were philosophical about the deal, and I want to stay in Boston and I want to leave, and said McCrimmon, I guess it was time to move on. I'm not bitter and I have no grudges, and said Peters, I was expected to trade, but if I go anyway, I'm glad it's Boston. The Bruins play the style of hockey I'm used to. In Los Angeles, they're calling the 1982 Lakers one of the greatest teams of all time. While the assessment is undoubtedly a bit political, that there's no doubt that at the end of the playoffs, the Lakers have become, as Rocky Balboa's trainer Mickey Goodmill would say, the minutes tortilla, the wrecking machine. It's also this Spurs 12-2 playoff record that included sweeps of Phoenix, etc. in a time when the Spurs were playing the best ball of the season. And a 4-2 series, dispatched of 36 in the finals. Only 7-1-2 more Quebec's Bill around the tallest.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Talents of 23 years, Senator Louis, Senator whatever happened to him, anybody had fared well in the playoffs.
Hey, sir, I just...
As in the case of professional sports teams, only those are most intimately connected with that day-to-day operation of the cabin. Exactly what went into the construction of this championship team, and no NBA team has been.
You can take someone to a matinee or watch them.
Come at and done this to the extent that Pat Riley Lakers did in order to earn this crown. First they walked
$25 a month into something.
traded out a 3-game Phoenix and Denver mini-series after sweeping the Suns. They waited the conclusion of 5 games to see how San Antonio series. They had to wait the conclusion of the 7-game Boston Philadelphia series after they had swept the Spurs inside of the examining game. The Lakers had to deal with the George Trey purchase. Had they thought not be turned toward the debate just that episode living in Southern California. Riley's up on the answer falling in the Tuesday night clinching 114-104 triumph at form. The best thing about the team Simmons with wicked coach is the work ethic. We had a total 28 off days during the playoffs, and a lot of times we went with 2.5 hours of tough hard work. The players had to do this in order to remain sharp, and they willing to do it. Marber, 2 Massachusetts favorites withdrew the
signature collection.
names, but the world's golden hero. Honor Palmer arrived here feeling hungry for today's senior Marlboro casket. I don't feel like a senior. I just finished a week of physical exams and a doctor's board of very good. Swan said that Chuckler Palmer yesterday.
This is
probably exhibitors 3-4 race, and Las Vegas style. Lines are clearly drawn between the bidders with established championship play. Holmes and 8-5 favorite and Drake Cooney.
blanket it is called is strong enough to shield kids from bullets.
5-6 underdog there, the heavyweight title bout tomorrow night.
After a deadly
Alright, on to the winner now. He now is Bruce Schregler. Alright, take away Bruce.
cost
Alright, thank you, Bob.
piece, the company says that's much cheaper than building tornado shelters.
The governor unveiling new recommendations tonight aimed at stopping a deadly drug epidemic. A Tonga family grappling with the realities of their son's near-fatal addiction hopes it's a step in the right direction. Corey Palazzi is proud of all his baseball trophies from school. That's when Corey was an honor student. He was on the National Honor Society.
Right now, congratulations down. Logan Airport of Boston, Massachusetts at 6 o'clock. Approach to the 6 o'clock hour.
He heard
5 minutes to 6, we have a temperature of
dashed. In college, he took Percocets to deal with depression.
63 degrees with a throughput about 44 degrees from 64 degrees. The temperature 50, humidity bar 3.03 inches. We got visibly 50 miles wind speeds about 9 condition podcast cars.
Program, he overdosed and almost died.
Current conditions, man region 70 degrees on temperature at Norwood, 76 in Providence, 62 in Buckeye, 63 in Falmouth, 65 in Ada, 68 in Nantucket, 72 in New London, 82 in Hartford, 81 in Chickabee, 87 in Westfield, 83 in New York City. It is 75 in New York, 72 in Islip, 82 in Rutland, and 82 in Lebanon, 8 Concord, Hampshire, 89 in Manchester, Hampshire, 61 in Portsmouth, and 65 in Portland Bay. There.
To help rein in addiction. Among the recommendations to enhance...
What about 9 Nation today? Shaws fell over the Great Lakes and the Central Atlantic Coast, while some thunderstorms extended from the Upper Ohio Valley across the Tennessee Valley. The most of the rest of the nation expect to have sunny skies, which it did. So, forecast for today will go like this. In Boston area tonight, fair to that, low 55, 60 degrees, and the line of variable winds and increase of continents with a chance of showers late tomorrow, high 70 to 75 degrees. From Massachusetts, Connecticut, fair to that, lows in the 50s, increase of clouds with a chance of showers development from west to east tomorrow, highs in the 70s. Cape Cod Downs, fair to that, low 55 degrees, and line of variable winds, increase of continents with a chance of showers late in the day tomorrow, highs in the 60s. Massachusetts, coastal forecast, southeast winds about 10 knots less tonight and seas 2 to 4 feet throughout the day, and 3 to 6 feet offshore in fair weather with visibly over 5 miles per hour tonight. In Maine, New Hampshire, tonight most of the coast got low about 50-55 degrees, increase of clouds with a chance of showers tomorrow, highs in the upper 50s and 60s along the coast, 70s inland. Vermont, increased clouds around tonight, lows in 50s and considerable cloudiness tomorrow with a chance of showers, highs mid-70s, and Massachusetts, down in Connecticut, chance of showers Saturday and Friday.
It will be shown at schools this fall.
And fair Sunday and chance of rain late Monday and highs in the 70s and 60s over the Cape Cod and low 50s. Maine, New Hampshire, sky showers ending Sunday with generally fair weather for Monday except for a chance of afternoon showers in the north end, mountains, and Sunday and Monday highs in the upper 60s, mid 70s, lows 45, 50 degrees. And Vermont, dry and warm, Monday highs in the 70s, lows of 50s. Pollution forecast, American Lung Association, Mass Department of Environmental Quality and Engineering forecast today's air is good to moderate.
Dangerous encounter.
For second low tide, 8:48 p.m. and sunset 8:20 p.m. and turn on headlights about 8:50 p.m. and moonrise 11:34 p.m. Last Corman June 14, 2:07 p.m. and new moon June 21st at 7:53 a.m. and first Corman June 20th at 1:58 a.m. and full moon July 6th 3:32 a.m. And that's way for the TV4 live on 4 and it's June 10th, 1982. I'm Chris Nack on sign. Joe's Clinic in a minute. In a few minutes will be TV4 Hours News, the 6 o'clock report, and it starts right now.
At America, let's get right to stories.